Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marotti.
How you doing? I'm David Cotter.
Wrestling Insiders is back. Believe it or not, he's Tony Atlas. And one of the craziest weeks in the history of this sport. Stand by. Brand new Wrestling Insiders is coming up.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, there is a lot to talk about in the world of professional wrestling, a lot to talk about with WWE, AEW, here in Boston Wrestling and the Millennium Wrestling Federation. Dave Cotter is back.
I'm back.
I don't know if he had the coronavirus, but after about 7 or 8 months, he's back here on the show.
I'm back. Took my hiatus. I'm back. I'm here every week now. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun now. Now we're ready.
And God willing, Tony Atlas is going to be with
Absolutely.
us taping episodes as well, so we're going to have a lot of great content heading into what, in theory, should be the busiest season of the year in wrestling. And
it's up in arms right now.
It is the busiest, craziest part of the year, but for reasons no one ever expected right now.
No, not at all. I've never seen this coming, and then all of a sudden it just happens.
If you live in a shoebox and don't know, WrestleMania is pending. Florida has given WWE 7 days to decide what they want to do with the event, or I guess they're going to decide for them. So to have WrestleMania 36 up in the air just shows how insane this situation is.
What are we, like 22, 23 days away from it, too? 3 weeks, a little more than 3 weeks. It's unbelievable, but we'll see what happens.
It's unfortunate. You know, I think the nail in the coffin to me was when Donald Trump announced they were canceling international travel for 30 days.
Like you said.
There's a lot of fans that go to WrestleMania that are not in the United States. I think, you know, it's been released publicly. I believe it's about a third of the crowd comes from overseas.
Imagine that, yeah. That's crazy. So they got to make a decision ASAP, figure this out real quick.
And, you know, you have to look at it from Tampa's point of view. That's a lot of money in the economy they lose out on if they lose WrestleMania week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Usually $150, $180 million.
Yeah, absolutely.
It pumps into the economy, having all the fans and the events and so on and so forth. So I can't imagine what the officials in Tampa are going through. I can kind of imagine what's going on in Titan Towers in Stamford, Connecticut, knowing that as well as I do. But I think it's going to make for a good book, or at least a good chapter of a book someday for the people that are involved.
Absolutely.
The WrestleMania, it's almost like the year without a Christmas.
Right.
What would you do at this point? You've always had an interesting point of view. I have my thoughts.
I mean, for WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I guess basically just see what happens the next week, and then from there, if they can't do it, I would definitely take out the June pay-per-view or something like that, because by then, hopefully, God willing, this will all be settled and have it in June. I know it's going to be hot in Tampa, but what are you going to do? You can't move it till next year. You can't skip over WrestleMania 36. You have to do it. So I feel like June would be perfect because it'd still be almost 2 months away from SummerSlam, because that's the next biggest pay-per-view, you know, biggest event, whatever you want to say, for a weekend. So, I mean, that to me would make the most sense.
At that point, though, here's the thing. So let's say WrestleMania 36 is postponed.
Okay.
How do they announce, okay, we're going to have it in June? How do you know the coronavirus isn't going to be gone?
And that's just me spitballing. I mean,
no, I'm not knocking the idea.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking in general, okay, because look, we have our own situation right now with our live events up in the air. We're trying to figure out backup plans for what we might have to do.
Right.
But with WWE, you're talking about, imagine if, let's just say they did it, they rescheduled it to the second weekend in June, and this problem still hasn't gone away. You cancel it again? I mean, that's... What about Jeddah, Saudi Arabia? Could they make a big play for WrestleMania?
You were talking about that. I don't like that at all, just because, I mean, yeah, we would have WrestleMania 36, but people like us, we go every year, we look forward to this, them doing it somewhere else, and everybody that hates them going there, just think of what everybody would say. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the big man, Vince McMahon, makes the decisions. We don't, so I guess you'll see what the best offer is. But in June, like I was saying, they would have to have a couple weeks to at least plan everything too. Make sure, like you were saying, with the teams and everything, like all the arenas, the convention centers are all opened up. So it
Then
would
they
take
might
a
already
lot.
have bookings. You know?
Exactly. So it's going to definitely be something. But that's when I would do it, is in June, even though it'd be really hot in Tampa. What are you going to do?
We'd be there, though.
We would be
We'd
there.
We
Unless
have
you did
to.
it, because could you do it? And then let me ask you this then.
Sure.
Storylines. How do you play out those storylines now? That's something that I'd rather ask you, because I have no clue what you would do.
You can't, I don't think you can hold off the climax. Let's use your theory until June. I mean, that's why, to me, I don't know what the regulations are in Saudi Arabia right now, or if anyone would even want to travel to Saudi Arabia for it.
Right.
But Saudi Arabia wants great American life basically coming in there, between concerts, parades, sporting events. They're willing to spend big, big, big money. Now, I don't know anything. As a WWE stockholder, I'd like to see WrestleMania happen in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
If financially Saudi Arabia could give them the money that technically they're losing out on by having it in Tampa, I would go for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. So it does make sense, absolutely.
The fans, I don't think, understand how in-depth it is for them to plan their WrestleMania week.
Oh, absolutely.
Well over a year.
Well, look, they announced it a whole year ahead.
Right,
Not even
right.
more than a year ahead for the one in Hollywood coming up, you know? Look, that was done, 2 weeks ago?
And there is already a team of people that are already working on the Hollywood event
Right,
next year in 2021.
Absolutely, yeah.
So to say, okay, we'll do it in June, it's great in theory, but there's just so much that goes into it. I mean, WWE, again, they don't announce them ahead of time, but they have live event bookings at certain venues, sometimes a couple of years ahead of time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
definitely.
sometimes they're on hold pending NFL,
Playoffs, anything like that. I get what you're saying, yeah.
NHL, not the NFL. They're not
I know what
running
you mean.
house shows at football stadiums, but
Right.
I have been a student of this game since 1986. I got involved in 1993. We've run the MWF since 2001. And I have never seen anything like this. The only thing is, we noted on MWF Ultra, when we were getting ready for our first live event, the implosion after 9/11 with our first event just 2 weeks after that. That was a insane period of time for us, you know, personally trying to make that event happen. But now with what's on WWE's plate, forget about an independent wrestling event. You're talking about the global phenomenon that is WrestleMania 36. And there are no answers to the questions, at least as of when we're taping this.
Absolutely.
Can we have a year without a WrestleMania?
No.
No.
I don't think so. I just don't think you can, because you build up to these matches. You have it. It's WrestleMania. And what? You put WrestleMania in 36 next year? I don't know. It blows your mind, because, you know, it's wrestling. It shouldn't be this difficult to think about, like, this kind of stuff, but it is, because it's never been done. We've never had to deal with something like this. The only thing we had to do, what was that, blizzard, snowstorm, they had to do stuff
For Raw.
And that was something, but that was a Raw, and look how hard it was for them to cancel that. Imagine this.
Well, and again, this is just fantasy world, but would you rather see them, A, have WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, or B, postpone it till next year?
Oh, Saudi Arabia then. Absolutely.
You want to see it happen. Okay.
Because I do want to see it happen, because I want to see these matches. I want to see where they're going to go from here. Plus, everything leads back to going into SummerSlam. You know what I mean? There's reasons why these have to happen. And it's just going to be fun. Plus, we're pretty spoiled because we have SummerSlam this year here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Those
mean?
are going to be great. 4 great nights of sports entertainment.
It will be, at least for me.
Well, talk to me on the Tuesday, my God. But SummerSlam did very well. I think it sold out almost
my God.
instantly, yeah.
Crazy, real fast.
And that's excellent for WWE. If you were, again, live in that shoebox, WWE is going to have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 big nights of action this August. I believe you're talking about the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The big one, obviously, SummerSlam, but also the first ever NXT Boston. Then you got the night before that, Friday Night SmackDown, and it ends with Monday Night Raw. 4 big nights here in Boston. How do you think that's going to do?
Oh, what do you mean, just for the crowd?
As far as the attendance, yeah.
Oh, I think it's going to be great.
You think they're going to draw well?
I think they'll draw well for that, yeah, because it's the summer, and it's the big thing before kids will be out of school still right then. You know what I mean? I think it's something that everybody looks forward to. Like you said, the SummerSlam tickets went crazy, and depending on how NXT goes and how how the storylines and the product is looking, then I think that's how we'll, you know.
I think the opposite. NXT might do all right, but as far as Raw and SmackDown goes, I think there's going to be a lot of sections that don't open up.
But
and that's disappointing.
Well, SmackDown a couple weeks ago, they did great there.
I'll tell you this, right now, and it's a shame because it almost feels like SmackDown attendance-wise is at least getting on a roll. It's cool that it's on Friday night. It sucked.
I love it.
It sucked on Tuesday having to go.
Yeah, I didn't like
Just,
it.
you know, even times we went. You have to rush home to try and get up for work the next day.
Exactly.
I love SmackDown on Friday night. The attendance has been up. At WrestleMania season, let's be realistic. Attendance should be up. It's the biggest period of the year. But they did over 10,000 strong in Boston. And the reality of the situation is no matter what they announce on TV, on pay-per-views, on television shows or whatnot, the attendance is enhanced an awful lot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But when they'll be, if they do 10,000 strong more than a dozen times in 2020, that'll be great for them.
Oh.
And Boston was a really good crowd. 4 nights of it, I think now is not the time.
Well,
I think there's such little interest in the product overall. 4 nights in a row in the same arena.
I just know they do those combo packs, the 4 tickets. So how many people bought those? See, that's the things that I would like to know because I know I've seen that on Ticketmaster that you could buy all 4 nights.
Yeah.
And people might buy that because the SummerSlam tickets were a lot cheaper if you bought the 4-pack than
really?
if you just bought an individual. I was looking at the prices. Like seats that were like $206, $270 were literally the whole combo pack was like $460 for all 4 tickets.
Really?
Yeah.
They cost, for that, they cost that much?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'm glad I don't pay.
Yeah.
Mother of God.
Yeah,
$460 for those 4 shows?
Yeah.
Where were the seats?
in Loge.
Wow.
$462 with the taxes.
If you can get it, why not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I just, again, I hope not. I hope all of the events draw well, but especially Raw, since that's the 4th one now, if they continue to do those 4-day weekends, I think Raw is going to be the one that gets a little stung, other than maybe the day after WrestleMania.
And then what? The next week they're, what is it? They're, Monday will be, they'll do Friday SmackDown, Saturday NXT. So Monday they'll do Raw and everything. And I wonder if, what do you think will draw better that weekend if you had to say? Because if you don't think they're all going to do well, which one out of those
I think people are genuinely going to be excited for the weekend to start. I think SmackDown is going to do better than Raw.
Really? Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think people will want to try and get into SummerSlam. NXT TakeOver is kind of a novelty for this area. SmackDown's the first night. I think by the 4th night, people might be burnt out and not be interested in going. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. I hope all 4 events draw well, but I don't think there's that much interest in the product right now. If it's not, imagine if the Attitude Era, if they did 4 nights in a row like that,
Be unbelievable.
People would be dying to go.
Oh, yeah.
Now
That's
people
why
might
it's up
go
to you
and
guys
die.
out there to buy the tickets and go so you can support because the more you guys go, it's the truth. WWE comes around and brings those events. It's better for us, better looking for us. I love it. That's why.
And if you want to talk local, WWE is scheduled to be in Springfield Saturday night, March the 21st live. Who knows what's going to happen with the calendar, though?
Oh, my God,
Where so many things are up in the air right now. But I'm a big fan of the WWE live events,
I know
as you
you
know.
are.
If you are in the Springfield area, check it out. If you don't like the interviews, the segments, the hoopla, the non-televised events are fantastic.
wrestling.
I enjoy them more than the TV tapings.
Yeah,
And I know
and
most
it's a little
people
intimate,
don't, but
more intimate too. The live events, I think, it's all just like nice dark light, just with the ring lit up, and it's nice. I mean, it's pretty much just all matches. It is fun to go live shows. I do like them. I definitely like the Raw, the SmackDown, the big events, but I like going to the live events with you. I know you enjoy them a lot more.
Then, again, you want to talk local, Monday night, April the 13th, you have Raw in Providence.
Yeah.
Then Monday night, April the 27th, you have Raw at Mohegan Sun,
That's
Uncasville,
right, yeah,
Connecticut.
Mohegan,
So
yeah.
you have a lot of opportunity to see WWE live. Hopefully you choose the MWF first. But,
Absolutely.
As you can see with the graphics that are going nonstop, we have a lot going on here in our coronavirus winter. I don't know how else
What a
to call it.
2020.
What else is going on in the world of wrestling? Now, you spent a lot of time putting the notes together for us to talk about, but before you even opened that notebook today, it's like the world exploded. What do we got?
I mean, do you want to go over Elimination Chamber? Because that just happened
Yeah,
last night.
go ahead. You start since you
All right, so
your
for the
notes.
kickoff show, I mean, first it happened in Philadelphia. It was a pretty good house, I thought, for what it was, because the build-up for it really came out of nowhere. It was Saudi Arabia. Oh, we have Elimination Chamber, too. I thought, at least that's how I felt it. The kickoff show, the match we had was the Viking Raiders versus Hawkins and Ryder. It was a quick match, a squash on them. Viking Raiders won. I
That's
mean,
all we need,
I know
baby,
you
the
like it
Viking
because
Raiders.
Todd. Yep, absolutely.
Ivar, what is it? Yeah, he's Ivar.
Ivar, yeah.
We love Ivar.
And then to kick off Elimination Chamber, it was which was a great match, Drew Gulak versus Daniel Bryan. If you like technical wrestling, it was definitely a fun match.
It was
Daniel
a
Bryan,
different match, yeah.
absolutely, and I like how they took Drew Gulak from 205 and all those, and actually had him in a match on a paper, and I thought he did well. And I know you could tell Daniel Bryan was having fun too out there with it. Like I said, Daniel Bryan won. I thought it was a good match. You have any problems with it?
It was different, different feel. The whole event had a different feel. I can't think of the last time they had a pay-per-view with such little star power on it, but it kind of reminded me of when the house show system was set up. You had A, B, C. This would have been more of a B or a C team show, but there's nothing wrong with that from time to time.
Right.
I'll get to my point of contention with it at the end. But no, that was a really solid opening match.
Absolutely. And then from there, we had the U.S. title match, which was Humberto versus Andrade as
And
the
I
champion.
like that an awful lot.
Me too. And you like Humberto?
He's growing on me.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
I think you know how much I think of him.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's world champion material.
Oh, he's fantastic, yeah. He's definitely like an Albert Del Rio, somebody like that. I think so, too.
Oh, I think he's much more interesting.
But you know
than
what I mean?
Del Rio,
Somebody like that definitely, like you're saying, and Humberto, I definitely enjoy watching. Like you said, he grows on you. He's grown on me. Andrade won the title, retained the title, I should say. That was good. So did you have any problem with that? Like, because you know how they were just all technical matches after? Anything?
I really like how they have taken the group of the Spanish wrestlers on Raw and really developed some synergy with them. I applaud them for that. I think it's one of the better parts of Raw right now, and I think Raw is lackluster right now with their main focuses.
Yeah. No hits.
So especially going into WrestleMania season, if there is a WrestleMania season. But that's one of the highlights of Raw to me is that little program with the Spanish wrestlers right now. It's really good.
Absolutely. From there, we had our first Elimination Chamber, which was a tag team Elimination Chamber. How did you feel about that? Anything stick out?
Loved it. It was great.
I like the New Days and the Usos because I knew they would start off hot with that because that's such a good matchup to have.
Yep.
And then, I thought they let Lucha House Party stuck around longer than I thought they would, and they actually performed well.
Yeah.
I was
they
shocked
gave them a chance to shine.
Exactly. To me, it was like I didn't see them doing that, but then when they kept going, I'm like, this is good. This is really good. And then they climbed the cage, jumped off. With a Lindsay Dorado jumped off the top of the flip. It was great.
Yeah.
It was good stuff. And for what it was, I thought it was really good because sometimes you go into those and you're thinking, I don't know what you're going to get or what to expect. But I thought it was really well. Miz and Morris retained the titles, and what do you feel about that? Because I haven't been here for 8 months. How do you feel about them being back together?
Miz needs to be a heel.
Okay.
Anytime they put him in the babyface position, it's just so bland. People don't take him seriously, and he doesn't have the credibility. Is a heel, he comes off as the asshole that you want to see get beaten up. Morrison, I'm surprised they didn't bring him back as a babyface at first just because people were genuinely happy to see him. They have a great chemistry together. I don't know. Morrison, I don't know if it's age, but he's not John Morrison yet. I don't know.
And he doesn't look comfortable. Do you get that sense?
He almost feels like he doesn't fit.
Right, exactly. That's what I thought so too. When I watch him and I see him do his little promos, he doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't I don't know, it's different. But from there, we had the AJ versus Aleister Black match.
That was really good.
Which is really good. And I honestly didn't even think Undertaker was going to be there. In my head, I should have thought about it. But from there, I never thought that was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen on Raw. I never thought it was going to happen at Elimination Chamber, him show up like that. But I thought it was good. And I think Aleister Black getting the win helped Aleister Black out a lot, too, and made him, more over than...
with Aleister Black, they made a big mistake when they had him lose to Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
Why would you have him lose to Eric Rowan when he's been undefeated on WWE TV?
Right.
It reminded me of, you're probably talking about early 2015. I remember it was January, but they had Roman's first single loss was to Big Show, and it was like, why?
Why? Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I think they have something in Aleister Black that they don't have with a lot of other guys right now. He should be developed as something special. Rowan is Rowan. There's nothing wrong with what he does.
He's got the big fake spider in the cage.
But should he have been the guy to have him lose to? No,
not at all.
I just rolled my eyes. But that was a Raw match. As far as the pay-per-view goes, it was a good win for him. But again, once you lose, you start to lose that luster.
How did you feel about it being no DQ? Did that bother you?
No.
I had some feedback saying it shouldn't have been a DQ or anything like that. It should have just been a regular match. I don't know. I liked it, a DQ. And it was a way to get Taker to come in and do what he did so Aleister Black could get the win. I actually enjoyed it. I mean,
that show needed something special and a little star power, and they did the right thing.
Well, I think it was definitely underrated. From there, we had the IC title match, which was all three, Shinsuke, Sami Zayn.
This is when the show started to suck.
And Cesaro versus Braun Strowman. I mean, to me, it is, I put exactly what it was. It is what it is. I mean, yeah, it was useless. I still don't know how you beat Strowman and you give it to Zayn. Like, I understand where they're going with it, but at the same time, Strowman should be a beast. Like you said, he should have never lost. He should just be blown through it, but they just don't do it. I don't understand why. To me, it is what it is.
You know what? I'll say this. It wasn't maybe the worst angle, but they picked the wrong people to do it.
Right.
Let's just say it was a different show. If this was an angle with, just say, Strowman and AJ Styles, and you had Gallows and Anderson involved, that would have a little bit more credibility than just the nonsense.
And what they've done to Nakamura, because he's literally, his stock has went down.
Nobody cares about Nakamura.
Literally.
I know there's people that'll disagree with that, but as far as them marketing him being selling tickets, nobody cares.
We don't agree on much, but we agree on this.
That. Okay.
I totally do. And then from there, we had our main event, which was the Women's Elimination Chamber, which Shayna Baszler showed out. She eliminated all 5.
Yeah, that was great.
I mean, she was dominant, and she won. Now she's going to be facing Becky Lynch at
if there is a WrestleMania 36,
there you go. I was waiting for you to do it for me.
It was awful. It sucked. But again, you're not allowed to say it sucked because it was a women's match. I'm sorry, I didn't like it. I thought it was boring.
I thought it dragged. There were some good workers in there, but I will agree with you on that it was boring. Don't do that in Elimination Chamber. That shouldn't be one in the Elimination Chamber at all, I think. They could have just done without the cage or the chamber, whatever you
I
want to call
hate
it.
now that they incorporate the women into Elimination Chamber. They have to have the little mats outside the ring when it used to just be the steel that the guys would bump on because, you got to... you know what? I continue to wish WWE would create an all-women's platform. Let the people that love women's wrestling really enjoy it in its own presentation. Having that match end the pay-per-view was terrible. Terrible. And I continue to believe that the time is going to come when the diehards are going to turn on the women as a whole. And it's going to be ugly. I know I've said that for a long time.
You did say one thing. I'll go back to what Evolution, that pay-per-view they had for women's.
Yeah.
They've never done it again. You said they would never, and they didn't. So I was definitely wrong about that.
I think at some point they'll probably do it again. But it was just...
But you know what it'll be? It'll just be a WWE Network special, I bet. They won't make it like a lone pay-per-view. You know what I mean? I think it'll be like that. Because like you said, it didn't do anything. Tickets were selling for $7 and stuff. Yeah, $5, whatever. I was hoping for more for the women's division, but right now they have some good talent, but some bad ways to bring it in.
There aren't enough of them.
Right, and that's true.
One thing we argued about last year, hopefully you'll give me the nod now that it's a little later.
The tag title.
The women's tag team title. You thought, that's a good idea. And I said, they don't have any women tag teams.
I thought it would because I thought they were going to write it into the show, but I didn't see it. I believe in giving everything a chance, which is my problem, but...
Maybe I've seen too much of it.
Right, well, this is the thing.
And I can tell usually right off the bat.
I just thought because the way they were doing the women's thing, everything women's power, all this stuff, I thought for sure they would have incorporated the tag team titles more involved with, but they haven't. Like the Kabuki Wars have been the champions. I don't even remember who the hell they beat. I do, but you know what I'm saying? It's the Iconics. But like to me, it's been so long since they defended them, and it's like, what's going on?
They didn't need them, and they did it to appease this fan base that loves the women's wrestling.
Right.
I'm not going to knock someone for liking women's wrestling.
Right.
I just wish the women's wrestling wasn't dragging away from my enjoyment of the men's product.
Right.
I just, you know what, do you have the NBA and WNBA on the same show? No. I'd like to see a WWE. Right. I think for the fans that love it, it would be great. Maybe turn an hour of Raw into that.
Or just first start off by doing what they did with NXT. Throw it on the network. See what happens there. Just see what it draws. I mean, I don't know. Like, I do agree with you on that now. I mean, I do like the women's, and I do like some of them. I think some of them are great workers. Some of them are going to be. I just wish they would incorporate it. If they were going to do it, incorporate it more. Like the tag team titles, people forget about, most com fan, who's the tag team champions right now, the women's? They wouldn't even know. Or they don't even know their names. You know what I'm saying?
If WrestleMania comes to fruition and it happens, to have 5 women's matches is too much.
Oh, yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, it is. And I hate to say it, but it is. It definitely is.
For that 7 hours, people will just be wishing for the women's matches to end to get on to the ones that they want to see.
Oh, yeah.
And I know I may come off not likable to those that like women's wrestling. Like I said, I want everybody to enjoy professional wrestling. I want every presentation of wrestling to draw well for the good of the genre.
Right.
It creates more jobs. It creates more live events. And right now, despite what some people online think, I think the fan interest is in a rut. Independent wrestling certainly has found a resurgence, but I mean, AEW started at 1.4 million and it's gone down. It's kind of plateaued, which is a good thing, especially where they're a new company. But I mean, Ring of Honor is on life support.
Suffering, yeah.
TNA has really never,
Impact,
even though
yeah.
their quality has improved.
It has improved. I do watch it,
Yeah.
but like you said, it's...
I mean, it's basically non-existent. And WWE's popularity has declined across the board. So when people say, oh, wrestling's never been better, I mean, I think you have the greatest group of physical athletes in the history of the business,
Right.
without a doubt. But as far as fan interest goes, it's peanuts compared to where it's been at different periods, whether
Right.
you're talking the Attitude Era, the 80s boom, the golden era of the 70s when
Yeah.
all the territories were hot. So I think people that think it's hot right now really don't know what it was when it was hot.
Exactly. And that's what I try to tell people, just like people with AEW. You don't know what hot is if you think that's hot. That's not hot. That might be hot to you, but it's not. Go back and that's why the WWE Network. Go back and watch what's hot. You get in debates all the time. But let's jump. All
right.
What would you grade that pay-per-view if you had to say? What would you?
To be honest, I really, really liked it up until the last two matches, but the last two matches just sucked the life out of it. I'd give it a 6.
6. I was going to go 7. So, yeah.
7?
Right around the same. I mean, it was good. Like I said, the crowd was pretty much in it the whole time.
I kind of
even though
wish
that
we
was
went down just because I like to get the sandwiches.
Well, remember we went to Philly, we went to
Battleground
Battleground
for
and see the
Punjabi
Punjabi
prison,
prison. Yes. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, like you said, 7. I think 6, 7, I think that's really fair. And I think it was definitely better than I thought it was going to be. And I enjoyed it a lot. And
If maybe the women's match was earlier and the Strowman nonsense was earlier,
And the
I might
tag
have
match-
gone higher because as I sat here trying to think of the number, there really were some good matches
Yeah.
on the show. Would I ever want to go back and watch it again? Probably not.
Not, yeah. From there, we had Monday Night Raw.
You have to walk me through it and refresh my memory.
Okay, Monday
It's
Night
been a
Raw.
long week.
Well, first we kicked off with your favorite, Becky Lynch. Kicked off the show. She talked Shayna about facing her WrestleMania and things like that. She cut a little promo.
Nobody cares.
I mean, I like Becky, but she's a little overkill now
It's
for
worn
me.
out its welcome.
Yeah, exactly. She's a little
Hate
overkill.
to say it.
And I don't want to make anybody mad when I say that because I do like Becky, but the way I see it is she's a little too much right now. I think she needs to either go away, change something about her, or do something. I don't know what they're going to do with her. That's why we need WrestleMania to see this match. But
I think it's a good, I'll say this, as much as I really don't care to see it, I think it's a good little program for WrestleMania.
Exactly.
They let them swear, they let them have a little anime blood when
when he bit the neck.
Shayna bit into her neck. I'd like to see some guys have an angle like that, where they'll go overboard to try and get the women over, but that's a different story for a different time. But it's a good little program with
Right.
Lynch and Baszler.
And then from there, we had Rey Mysterio versus Angel Garza with Zelina Vega. And
I really like that.
Yes, right? That's
As
what
I
I said,
said,
too.
The Spanish grouping they have with Mysterio and
They have some great talent.
Garza and
Yeah.
Andrade.
Yeah.
Whether it's Paul Heyman or someone else that's helping orchestrate that, what a great little program they
Oh,
have. I think,
absolutely.
to me, it's the highlight of Raw right now.
It's definitely
It's one of the best parts of it.
I was so shocked how good it's been, and it's been really good. And that match, I even put good match. It was definitely good. Rey Mysterio got the win, but I definitely like Angel Garza. He's definitely going to be something special.
That, to me, was so good it didn't matter who won. Everybody came out looking good.
And then we got a tape segment, which was AOP, Murphy, and Seth beat up Owens out back when he was coming in through the suitcase at him. You know.
talk about a program that there's such little interest in.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
This Kevin Owens is not a top-tier babyface. Seth
They're
Rollins
trying.
is lousy.
I'm
in
biased.
this-
I do love Kevin Owens, but I will agree that he's probably not the top babyface. But I do like him, and I do appreciate his work. I just don't.
Much better as a heel. He's
Yes,
going to
I
be
was-
the Miz.
Exactly. I was just going to say, him as a heel is just so much better because he knows how to do it. And I remember him you remember him on the microphone screaming.
Yeah.
It's so much better, but, they're trying something, I guess.
And Rollins, they have him beat Lesnar, and then basically he was castrated.
Which I don't get. Like, I just don't understand all this. The Monday Night Messiah, I mean, it's cool, but like.
No,
I mean, it's cool what they're doing, like to keep him, like, something. But to me, why did they do what they did to him? Like, they just created this.
they didn't want a second Roman. where he gets booed every week coming out as the babyface. Yeah. I understand that. I just think the presentation of him as a heel right now is just lousy. Yeah. It's not interesting to me. I liked him as a heel his first run. I thought he was excellent, excellent, excellent.
Right, with the Triple
when
H.
They weren't the corporate ministry.
Yeah, but I know you mean the Triple H, yeah, the authority.
Oh my God, he was great.
Yeah.
As a heel with that, but with this, it's weak. It doesn't have a lot of credibility. It comes across as forced. It doesn't come across as realistic. I think with the authority presentation, it was more realistic of how someone might be. For him to come out as whatever, the Messiah now, I mean, why should anyone care? Right. Why should anyone care about Authors of Pain? Why should anyone care about Buddy Murphy?
What he kind of reminds me of is like, remember Don Callis used to come out and touch the fans and do that? You know, that's what you notice he's doing that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You notice he grabs, you know what I'm saying? He does that. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like,
it just doesn't, he doesn't fit the gimmick.
You remember that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. I was looking at that, I'm like, because you know how much I wrestle and I watch it, I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here? Am I re-seeing something? Like, are they taking little bits and pieces? I don't know. But from there,
doesn't fit him.
We had another little promo thing with Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. They came out. I like the program. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is gonna be a really good match at WrestleMania. I'm a fan of both. I know I can already tell by your face you are not. But to me, I think this is gonna be definitely a great match. Charlotte can go, Rhea can grow, and they both have heat. I think it's gonna be good.
Not a bad program. It makes NXT seem important, which is really good. They never did that with ECW.
Yeah.
Do you imagine if they ever had the winner of the Royal Rumble go for the ECW championship?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But again, it's just, it feels like maybe if they weren't going to have the other women's, if they were maybe just going to have those two women's matches, I wouldn't mind seeing it. But when I keep thinking there's going to be 5, it just drains
makes your mind blow.
It's an overkill. I think, again, though, to take away my personal thoughts, I think it's a good little program that they've structured between the two of them. I really do. Yeah. And again, it helps make NXT seem all that much more important, which they need. I mean, NXT, they obviously want to grow that much like AEW does on Wednesday nights. So
absolutely.
We'll see.
Then from there, we had the most random match, Zack Ryder versus Bobby Lashley. They didn't even give Zack Ryder an entrance. He was in the ring. Bobby Lashley comes out, literally squash. I mean,
and that's how Bobby should be presented.
Exactly. It's just such a random match. I mean, but I guess they do that. I guess it's better than some job, enhancement talent. So I mean, they were from there. Then from there, they showed Aleister Black backstage. Seth and Murphy came over and tried to recruit him, join. Obviously, it didn't go well, but he told them, that means you're going to have a match with me later on tonight. From then, we had your boy, Eric Rowan, that we were just talking about, versus Drew McIntyre. The match was quick.
That wasn't that bad.
Drew smashed him into the cage, and then Drew wins with the,
I don't understand why he killed whatever it was in that cage, but in this day and age,
what do you think about that being a toy spider just coming out like that with?
I don't think you'll ever see it again.
That was oh my God! I just was like, after all
I don't think you'll ever see that again.
That was whoever thought that should be. I don't know, but that was terrible. I didn't like it.
It would have been cool if there was like a real animal or something in there.
Right? Why can't is there some restriction?
Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. And then from there, we had a little Kabuki Warriors promo, which...
Yeah, that was great. When they yelled
and
no one knew what they were saying.
Stood there with my mouth open, just like, what's going on here? Other than the yelling, no idea what was going on.
You know what people did? They took the remote and they went, click.
Yeah, probably. From there, we had the Kabuki Warriors versus Natty and Liv Morgan. It was a quick match. Yeah. Kabuki Warriors won. Not much to say. Like I said, it wasn't even for the tag titles or anything. It was just a tag team, and it was whatever.
It was, to be fair to the talents involved, that work hard, despite what the presentation is. It was fine. There was nothing bad about it.
Right.
They're working with the material given to them. I would not let the Kabuki Warriors talk.
No, I didn't like that. And then from there, I think we had the best part of the night, which was AJ Styles come out with the OC, cut a promo on Taker. I thought it was very good. I mean, I seen the reaction. I read a little bit of reaction. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't because he basically talked to all the smarks, all the, fans that talk crap. Yeah. He basically called them out. And I like it because what he was speaking was the truth and everything like that and what they wanted. But, hey, I thought it was very good. And I never thought they would actually use Undertaker's real name. Even though, because you know how he's so, far, it seems like he's so against of all that stuff, all the realism of his life. And to use his wife and all that stuff. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
It wasn't bad. Here's the problem. They just did the wife angle the week before with Randy Orton and Beth Phoenix.
Right.
For the same pay-per-view.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
Come
you're definitely.
on.
Yeah.
Did you really have to go there for that match? I thought it lacked creativity. Isolated on its own, not bad. But when you incorporate it into the rest of the show and everything they're doing, not even on different brands, the same show.
Right.
Overkill.
Absolutely. And I bet they were probably thinking that at the same time, too, after, like, oh, man, what do we do? Because, you know, I don't know why.
I know they need to try and spicing it up, but to me, I think it'll be good. I think AJ's the right guy. He's perfect to play a ping pong for Undertaker. But, again, from the credibility factor, I don't know. How many people think AJ is going to have a shot at winning?
Well, that's the thing. But you know what AJ is? AJ is like a Shawn Michaels. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's why I think
I
it
have
will.
a feeling he's going to make Undertaker look spectacular.
That's what I was just going to say is, you know how Undertaker had those 2 great matches against HBK at
Yep.
WrestleMania?
Well,
I think,
that was 10 years ago.
no. Well, no. But let me finish what I was going to say. What I was saying is I think AJ can get something good out of Taker
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
I definitely do. I don't know how good is good, but I think it's going to be better than what we've seen in the past with Taker at the, you know, the Super Showdowns
The
and things like
Goldberg,
that.
yeah, and the DX matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a match I look forward to seeing when it happens.
Absolutely.
If it happens.
Right.
If there is
So sad to
WrestleMania
say,
36.
right? And then from there, we had the MVP in the ring. You remember this, the promo.
Yeah.
Edge came out. Then the RKO was done by Edge, and then it was just, the RKO was done by Edge. It was just a whole one thing after another. What I don't get is, what's the point of bringing MVP in there? Just to add somebody in there, or?
Yeah, to freshen up the show a little
Why
bit.
wouldn't they-
I
why-
tell you, I didn't really like MVP's work as a wrestler, but I like what he's done on Raw since
I was
they
just going to
started
say,
him as a
his promo,
character. Yeah.
But why wouldn't you use Christian in that spot? Because he has ties with, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I would think that would be one reason.
I'm not saying in what Edge did to Christian, but I'm saying from the start, like with the what, like, you know what I mean?
It almost seems like they're trying to build him up to be a manager.
MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a good mouthpiece.
Yeah.
I was never a fan of his wrestling work.
Because I know you went with Beth in the same story, and then I was thinking, why didn't you use Christian in that spot then if you knew you were going to go with the Undertaker with the wife thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Christian would make sense. That's his best friend, you know, all that, and he's nowhere to be found on it. I don't know. I thought it was definitely good. I love the concerto and everything like that. It's good to see Edge back. Since I haven't seen you, I was just going to say, since we're here on Edge, how do you feel about him being back? I haven't talked to you about it.
When we were going to have the first MWF event way back before it even happened in 1999, he was going to be the headliner of the event. He's a good guy. I understand the physical problems he's been through after dealing with my own. For him to be able to have this comeback is a great thing for him financially, and it's going to be a great thing for his soul. Because you know what? He had this business taken away from him very unexpectedly when he had so many more years to contribute to it for himself, for his family, for the fans. And for him to have this great comeback, the reaction he had live in Houston was great. We were up in the handicapped hotel, as I'd like to call it, the disabled section.
Yeah.
There was a lot of room to move around. But I mean, it was one of the loudest reactions I've ever heard at a wrestling event. And I was very happy for him as a human being. As far as the talent goes, he's a great talent to have back. He's excellent, excellent, excellent. His promos are good. He knows how to turn it on when he has to. Again, you're talking about a man now closer to 50 than 40, but he's in the best shape of his life. I want to see what he has. That's one of the matches I really want to see at Mania, is Edge and Orton. They've really did an excellent job separating them.
And he's working with the right guy to bring him back, because Edge is probably hands down, one of the best wrestlers there is right now. You know what I mean? His work is so good. I think it's definitely going to be a great match.
Yeah.
And then from there, we had Seth Rollins with Murphy and Aleister Black. It was a quick match, which you knew when everybody rushed the ring what it was going to change into. An 8-man tag, which was Seth, Murphy, and AOP with Viking Raiders and Street Profits, which I know you have a heart for Viking Raiders, so you're probably happy to see them out there. The biggest news out of the match was, I think it was Azar tore his bicep.
Yeah.
I read so.
Oof.
I know.
I'm worried now.
I'm just saying, out of the whole match, that was probably the biggest.
Shit.
And then from there, we had the match. Seth won, and then KO came out, attacked, and it was just how you expected.
The match was, again, it was fine.
It was so long, though.
It was long.
3 segments.
There was nothing of any great interest to it.
No.
I have zero interest in this Rollins-Owens program. I just think it's flat.
So, what do they do? They haven't announced anything. What's that? It's going to be Seth versus KO at Mania?
I would imagine.
Yeah, that's what they're going to go with. I didn't know if they were going to add any of those teams or anything to it.
I think it would water it down more.
Exactly.
They've done it so many times on Raw now.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing they haven't done is Owens and Rollins one-on-one.
One-on-one, yeah.
I think if
We'll
you
probably
did a
get that this
multi-man
week on Raw.
match, They've done it so many times. I'm just bored with it.
Exactly.
I can't believe when you look at the tag team division, again, even if you take my personal feelings aside, would you push the Street Profits over the Viking Raiders?
No, but you know who?
Oh, my God.
I must admit, Montez Ford is great. I watch him work.
He's an acrobat, sure.
But he's great. He sells. I just watch him work. That frog splash he did in the match was unbelievable. I don't know. I like his work, but I get what you're saying.
He doesn't have the credibility. He's too thin.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't. And the other one, he looks like an out-of-shape guy in basketball shorts and a tank top
Angelo
that's
Dawkins.
too tight.
I mean,
and
yeah.
they're not bad,
No.
but I mean, the Viking Raiders, when they came out and they're intense and ass kickers, they were
should
great.
be that. They should be.
And now, I don't know. They're higher up on the food chain than the Viking Raiders, and I'm disappointed.
I mean, I get it.
But do you want the smoke?
Do you want the smoke?
I've never had it.
Me either.
We'll have to wait and see.
Hey, you got your red cup?
No, we'll have John Cena Sr.'s Fabo Pop.
Oh, there we go.
All right,
Is that inside the cup?
That's inside the cup, yeah.
All right. That's all that matters.
Well, then we'll have the smoke.
And that was Raw.
That was Raw, baby.
I mean, now we have NXT and AEW. You wanna
Wild night on Wednesdays, that's for sure.
And it was from the PC this week.
Yes, for the fans, because it took me a minute to remember what was going on, because I said, where did everybody go? And I said, oh, yeah. They're not at Full Sail this week. They're at the Performance Center.
So bear with me on this one. I went back and forth. If you've seen something that I didn't see, you could talk about
Tell
it.
me, baby.
Because I was going back and forth with this. Because they're both on the same time, so it was like how Monday night used to be. So for me, I started off with, we had that North American title match, which was Keith Lee versus Cameron Grimes, which Cameron Grimes is great. He's a good worker.
I don't particularly like the gimmick, but he's very good.
He's very good.
I
I thought it was a very good match. And obviously Keith Lee won, but I thought it was a great match. And we had, remember Damian Priest came out, hit him, and then Dijak came out to protect Keith Lee. Keith Lee ended up turning on Dijak.
Turning on him, yeah.
What do you think of Dijak? How do you feel about him? Because that's another
Great
guy that I see.
athlete, great size, but to me, he's not thick enough to be believable for what they're trying to do with him. He's like Sid off the gas. Is that? I mean,
that's the
thought that's always gone through
that's
my
a
mind
perfect
about him.
Analogy, yeah.
And then you have a guy like him. Could you see him on Raw? I mean, obviously he's going to get there because he's really good. But again, it's just the credibility factor. I'd like to see the guy be thicker.
Right. I get what you're saying.
One man's opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Good
then,
little segment, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And then from there, we had Mia Yim and Dakota Kai.
Ugh.
I know you don't care. Dakota Kai, Mia Yim won. Dakota Kai lost, obviously. It was
When I
a
was
quick
flipping
match.
back and forth through the channels, I was
Now, do you want me to go
disappointed.
what was on Raw? I mean, what was on NXT, then on AEW?
No, no, we'll just do one show at a
Okay,
time. But
so
during this one, I changed the channel to try and see, and then they had a women's match on AEW, and I said, oh.
That's something that we're going to talk
What's
about when we
on
go to
CNN?
AEW. Yeah. And then from there, we had Kushida versus Raul Mendoza, which is another great talent in that whole division of the Mexican Spanish wrestlers. You know what I mean? They're great.
I can see him easily getting into the mix with WWE once
And it
he's
was
just
a
a little
quick
more
match.
seasoned.
Kushida ended it quick, but he's definitely good.
Yeah, he's good too.
And then two guys, I don't know if you've seen the little backstage thing. They had the guys come and grab them. I don't know who they're going to be, but two masked guys came out and threw Raul Mendoza and the Suburban or wherever it was.
That's,
To you, yeah, I know.
they're still trying to figure out who knocked out, who was it, Itami in the parking lot back in 2015?
Yeah.
Is that his name, Hideo Itami?
Yep,
Yeah,
you're right. Yep,
Maybe
you're
we'll
right.
find out someday.
Exactly. And then from there, we had Rhea Ripley come out. Then Charlotte come out. They cut a promo, which was actually really good. Charlotte did her a little. I thought it was very good. Now, how do you feel?
Effective.
Since we are there, do you think Charlotte going for the NXT title is something that you can jump on, you can live with?
Like I said, I wish they'd eliminate the Bayley match and the women's tag team title match, and I guess maybe the Battle Royal they could keep on the pre-show. There's just too many women's matches on WrestleMania. But I'll say again, they've done a really good job with the NXT women's title match and the Raw women's title match to build it up.
Right.
How it is executed once the matches happen, if there is WrestleMania, I don't know. But I think they've done a really good job making NXT seem important.
Awesome, yeah.
The more important they can make NXT seem, the better it is for everybody.
Absolutely. I can't argue that. Then from there, we had the qualifying match for the ladder match at NXT Tampa, if they do it. We'll see. It was Tegan Nox versus Purrazzo. Nox won the match to qualify for the ladder match. I mean, I know that you probably have not much to say. I mean, I like both, but I think Tegan Nox should get the win. I feel like she's the better worker in the two out of those two. From there, we had the Broserweights. Pete Dunne. Matt Riddle versus Undisputed Era,
I wish Matt Riddle
which is
was a
Kyle
more.
O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
I wish Matt Riddle was more of a serious character.
Yeah.
But the work that the four of them are doing has been great. Great.
Absolutely. I definitely like them. I don't know. I think Matt Riddle I like, but I just what is going on with him backstage? Do people just don't like him? Like, does he run his mouth too much to these guys, or is it just all a work? You would know better than me.
I think he's got maybe a personality that he needs to tweak a little bit.
Yeah, because you read things all the time, like between him and Goldberg, things like that, and it's, him and Brock. Like, I don't know. I don't know if
He's a good self-promoter, I'll say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He wants to keep his name out there, and that's a good thing for him.
Which is true. And then we finished off NXT, which was a great brawl. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano battled through the whole entire PC. That table spot was great. I don't know, did you see that?
Oh,
I thought
yeah,
it was great.
yeah.
I thought the whole battle through the whole PC was really cool.
I don't believe Gargano is a heel.
No? Not your thing?
No, not at all. It's just, it's unbelievable to me. The segment was good. I wish it was done in a way where the roles were reversed and Tommaso was the heel again, because Tommaso is excellent.
Yeah, he was.
One of the best in the world.
Why? I just don't know why they go back to this. You know what I mean? They had this, and then they were teaming.
Maybe because they never had the blow-off to it. I don't know.
But why? I don't know. Some things I just feel like, they should have just kept it either going and just had him go away and then come back. I don't know. But whatever. It was a great battle throughout the whole PC. I thought that was really cool. Good way.
They
good
jumped
visuals.
off that stage that was about 7 feet in the air that they were trying to shoot at angles to make it look a lot higher than it was.
Hey, you got to do
but
what you
still
got to
very
do.
risky, very risky.
You got to make chicken salad out of chicken sit sometimes,
Shoot the thing up.
And then now we're going to review a little bit of AEW. That was NXT. First, we had Cody Rhodes versus Ortiz. I don't know. Did you see this match? I know you were doing the flip in.
I thought that was good.
Ortiz, I like LAX. I really do. I think they're very.
That's not their name, though, anymore, is it?
What?
Do they go by LAX?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah.
In AEW?
Yes.
Maybe I missed it. All
Okay.
right. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, so, they're the Inner Circle, too, now, so maybe that's where you're going, but thinking they're part of the Inner Circle, whatever. But anyways, Ortiz, Cody beat Ortiz with the submission move. And then at the end of the match, what was it? Sorry. My
That's
notes
all
are
right.
so many
They had
things.
that brawl backstage, was it
Yeah,
not?
well, that's the thing. They had the brawl backstage with the garage door on top of, what was it, Matt Jackson? Nick Jackson, and he was bleeding and stuff. I thought it was pretty good work. I like Cody. What do you think about Cody in AEW so far?
You know what it is? Every time he's out there with the wife, it just...
Bothers you?
And I like Cody Rhodes an awful lot. If you remember, years ago, I was a huge advocate for Cody Rhodes in WWE. To put him in the position they put him in was asinine. And look at how well he's done since.
Right.
But I think he only hurts himself being attached at the hip with her. I know there's a diehard fan base for that grouping that loves those people very much, and that's a great thing. They're very passionate about it. But I think there are a lot of people that are turned off by it, and that just means they're not interested and they won't watch.
I like Cody Rhodes' work. I think he's a great promo, and he's definitely a good worker. I just think sometimes he's overkill on things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think he's a little overkill, and it's
There's too much of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they don't have a big enough roster.
Which is true. And then we had a promo with Jericho. How do you think Jericho, too? That's somebody we haven't talked about since we've been...
The best work of his career.
You think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Le Champion?
I don't like that.
A little bit of the bubbly?
I can't stand...
Tell me
what's
so
his
when he was
name?
doing a little bit of the bubbly. Did you like that?
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was effective for him. I can't stand the way Justin Roberts ring announces there.
Really?
Where he does... it's
Too
too
much?
over the top. Too over the top.
I wish I thought about you.
Too over the top.
Yeah, it is. Because he holds everything so long, and it's, yeah, it is. You're right. You're definitely right
But
on
as
that.
far as Jericho goes, I think it's the best work of his career. I
Yeah.
applaud him for having the balls to leave WWE and try something new. When he could have gone back to WWE for big money in a very comfortable role, certainly not top of the card role, but a good role for great money.
Let me ask you this. You think he'll ever be back at a full-time role in WWE? Or I know he'll come back for a match.
Full-time? No.
This will be his last full-time gig, and then he'll probably come back, you think, like to do a Mania or
Well,
something?
even now, I mean, would you consider once a week a full-time schedule?
No, not
That's
a
what
full,
I mean.
but you know what I mean, like for at least the events. Would you think he'd have come back for just
For
a little roster?
WWE? I'm sure he'll be back in some capacity
Yeah.
if it's all said and
I
done.
hope
He's
so.
kept himself in great
I
shape.
like him in AEW, but he doesn't look right to me.
And at the end of the day, you know what? Some night he's going to be laying in bed and he's going to think to himself, do I want my career to end in AEW Or do I want my career to end in WWE?
Exactly, you're
Where
right.
do you want your career to end?
I think this is a good in 3, what he signed, 3-year contract. I think
Yeah.
in 3 years, he'll come to do exactly what you said. Do I really want to stay or do I want to go where the big time is? And then from there, we had the Butcher and the Blade and MJF versus Jurassic Express, which don't even get me started. It's, you know who it is, Luchasaurus.
I know the three.
Okay,
Jungle Boy and the
Marco
other little
Stunt.
guy.
I can't stand Marco Stunt. Oh my God, unreal. That I'm so with. I don't like everything Jim Cornette says, but what he says about those guys, too much. Just too much of all that. The Butcher and the Blade are actually good. One guy, at first when he came out, I thought it was Silas Young. I really thought it was. It looks like him. I thought it was like,
Yeah,
what's
you're
going
not
on?
wrong.
I was like, what happened to him in that ring? I just had watched him on Ring of Honor, and then I'm like, okay, it's not. I had to look up. See, these guys, I don't watch a lot of the independent like that, so I've never seen those guys, and I finally found out that. And they're good, but I just don't think they're established characters to be having matches on AEW right now to bring in fans in.
There's so many guys that are unestablished to begin with. That's
You
the
know
problem
who is
you run
great?
with the new
MJF.
company. I think he'd be better as a manager.
What?
And I know a lot of people disagree with that. He's too little.
Really?
He's too little.
MJF, really?
Yeah.
See, I
Cody
like him a
Rhodes
lot.
isn't a big guy, and look at the size difference. I don't know.
I like
I
him.
think he's a great mouthpiece. I think he's a great heel as far as, I want to see him get the shit kicked out of him. But I just wish wrestling could go back to having the bigger guys again.
And there's no managers, what you're saying. So I
Yeah.
could see him actually being a really good, and then wrestle once in a while or something like that. I
That
know.
guy he has now, what's his,
Oh,
not
Warlord?
Warlow?
Yeah.
Please.
They changed it so they, yeah, I know.
Come on.
Stupid. And then from there, now this is where I'm going to agree with you 100%. We had Nyla Rose and Babe Pretley or whatever his name is versus Chris Statlander and Hiro Shirai. No, thank you. I cannot go with the AEW women's division at all. I don't like it one bit. I think it's awful. It's completely trash to me. They try hard, but they are no good. Nyla Rose is the only one, but I mean, why aren't
That's a different story for a different
I was
time
just going to
in
say,
and
I'll
of
let you deal
itself,
with that. But
It's just not for me. The people that like women's wrestling, I wish they had their one platform to go and watch it. Because when you compare the work match by match of the guys and the women, it's too much of a different contrast to me.
it is.
One man's opinion. I respect your opinion if you like it. But
Right.
I think it's terrible.
I think deep down, and any of these people that are watching this will agree with us that the AEW women's division is not nearly as good as WWE's, and I don't think it's good at all. I don't know. That's to me, but you know how we have that.
Here's the thing. Everybody wants to have a women's division now. There aren't that many great women's wrestlers out there to fill these divisions.
Since we're on this, and I haven't seen you then, let me bring this up. I'm going to stop this right here for a second.
right.
Tessa Blanchard as the champion. Shoot. Go ahead.
Everything that's wrong with professional wrestling in 2020, why nobody is drawing well in 2020. I don't care what people say. AEW is doing fine for a once-a-week TV taping, especially on a Wednesday night, which makes it even more impressive. But overall, the health of the business is not good, no matter what people think. There's more money right now because of the way the television industry is going, but if the television industry ever sways from the way it is right now, there's going to be a lot of hurting units right now. And let me tell you, having her as your champion just castrates the credibility that company had. They've done a lot to improve the quality of their shows. That's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with what she does. She's a good worker. She's one of the best women wrestlers out there right now.
Right.
But to have her out there working the guys like that, it's just going to make people take that remote control and go. I understand TNA is probably at a point now where they're trying to do anything to generate interest.
Right.
I get that part of it. They were doing those nonsense murders last year with the...
Yeah.
I don't understand what that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I just think that's going to turn off a lot more people than it turns on.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. I mean, like you said, Tessa Blanchard is a great worker. She's a fantastic wrestler, women's wrestler. But as the champion of the company, to me, I just don't see it because you have a guy like Brian Cage, people like that, and when she has matches, or even like a guy, Sami Callihan, to me, it doesn't look believable, and you want eyes on the product. At the end of the day, you need those eyes on the product. And when they say a woman versus a man, and she's the champion, and she beats him, it just... What am I watching? Click, like you said, with the controller.
As much as I didn't like China, at least China was all gassed up and was enormous.
Oh,
it
she's
looked
bigger
like,
than some of the dudes.
It looked like it really hurt
When she hits
if
you.
she's kicking the shit out of you.
Definitely.
Tessa Blanchard is a well-conditioned woman.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with what she does. it just isn't credible having her do it with a guy.
Right.
One man's opinion.
Yeah, sidetracked on that one. I just want to bring it up
That's
because I haven't
all right.
talked to you. From there, we had, I don't like this guy either, Joey Janela, can't stand, and Private Party versus Death Triangle, which is Pac, Phoenix, and Pentagon Jr., which I do like Phoenix and Panic, all three of them, you know, but Joey Janela, no thank you. He's just too much for me. I don't know. I don't like people that make a joke of the wrestling business, and to him, it's like a joke whenever I watch him.
What he does is too over the top, but I do think there's really good potential in him. I would love to try and book him.
Exactly. But if he doesn't take it as a joke, I just feel like everything's a joke. And I don't like watching wrestling like that. I like when people take it serious because, you know, you're so prone to watching everything serious. It should be serious. It should take it just as serious as anything. And, I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be fun and you're supposed to have some entertainment. But to him, everything looks like a joke, and I don't like it. That's me personally. In the match, we had Death Triangle 1. It was a good match. I mean, you can't go wrong with those guys in the ring. Pac, Phoenix, and Pentagon Jr.
How many multi-man matches are you going to have on the same show?
I know, right? That was everything on this.
Again, that exposes the limitations of that
then
roster.
the main event, which was Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. How do you feel about Sammy Guevara? They call him Eddie Guerrero Jr. like he's going to be.
I think he's really good,
just so small.
but he just doesn't fit a national presentation. Now, that doesn't mean he can't grow into it, but I've had this conversation with people in WWE. What happened to the big guys? Why can't they get, again, nothing against Sammy Guevara, but why can't they find 6'2" guys to do this?
Do this, yeah, exactly. And it was versus Paige and Dustin Rhodes, which was, they're great.
How many?
I love him.
I mean, how many times on this episode was Cody Rhodes out?
Oh, yeah, because at the end he came out.
Oh, my God.
Well, just to let you know,
was out of
Paige
there were
and
so
Rhodes
many
won the
run-ins.
match, and then from then at the end of the match, yeah, it was the Inner Circle came out, then Cody, yeah, it was too much. It's too much overkill of the same guys because, like you said, they don't have enough talent that's over. So when people tune in, they got to keep on feeding the same guys because you bring out these other guys, and who are these? Who are these?
They start,
because, us fans that are, you know, if you're watching the show and you watch everything, yeah, we know who they are. But a casual fan, you know, the person that's filming this, something like that, they don't know who it is. They're going to turn around and be like, what is this? And then click it. You need the eyes on the product. That's how you prosper. That's how you get bigger. That's how WWE does it. It's, you know, to me, it's.
They would have been much better off starting off as a 1-hour show.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like an NXT does.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, like they did. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Chris Jericho's fantastic, and I know why they're putting him with Sammy. He's putting him with so he can get Sammy over or whatever. But I don't know. I don't see it right now. I mean, Paige is great. I know you like Hangman Page a lot, too, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
And Dustin Rhodes is having some of the
and
best
I tell you
matches
this,
of
what
his
they're
life.
doing with Hangman Page is absurd, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stupid.
And Dustin Rhodes, I mean, he's having some of the best matches of his career right now.
You know what? When he starts doing, like, the Canadian Destroyer to me, that reminds me of what a veteran does sometimes on the indies to try and be funny.
Okay, so you're not...
Not just take anything, he's in great shape.
Yep.
He has had some stellar matches. I just...
Yeah, I get what you're saying. All in all, I thought, you know, AEW, I expected more from them, honestly. And I know if you go back and look at our old shows, I expected, honestly, at least 1 million to be watching. And I said that, and I was way off. I'm about 200,000 off, sometimes even more. And I feel like what they're at now is pretty much where they're going to stay. I don't see them maybe bump a little bit, but I don't see them getting over 1 million ever.
I think the problem you have is now, unless they grow the roster, people are going to get bored with seeing the same thing.
Well, yeah, plus
every
those
week.
guys that are on those rosters right now, they're going to leave. And they're going to come back to WWE in the free agents. They're going to do it.
I mean, that remains to be seen. I'm talking about the immediate future with
Right.
what they have right now. It's the same thing. And they have a lot of guys that aren't ready for national television. I've said this before to people that have talked about AEW. My general feeling when the show is over is that you have 1 or 2 matches that are really good, and the rest of it doesn't belong anywhere near a national television program. That's why I think they would have been better off with an hour with the limitations they have as far as the roster goes.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the reviews for all the
That
shows
has
this
been,
week.
we had reviews.
Yeah, and then we have news and notes if you want to go over some of
What do
that
we got for the news and notes?
All right, this will be quick because we already talked about WrestleMania. That was the big one.
If there will be WrestleMania
Right, we talked about
36.
that. How about this one? Our fellow guy, Rob Gronkowski, signing a deal with the WWE.
I think it's great.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to get what you did because we're home. If you're watching from another state, we're from Massachusetts and New Hampshire. That's New England Patriots, so Rob Gronkowski to us is close, so it's kind of cool for us.
You know, again, it all depends on the presentation.
Right.
But
if he's that party guy, then probably not.
Yeah.
But if he's something that's actually...
Yeah, I mean, you're a real deal athlete. He brings instant credibility to what he's doing.
Instant eyes to the product, too.
I think he kind of fits, quote-unquote, sports entertainment with his personality. But he's a real deal athlete, and it's not like you're talking about a guy that's maybe limited to one mark. Like TNA was always, anyone that was ever in the NFL, they wanted to bring in.
D'Angelo
I
Williams,
think casual people know who Gronk is.
Yeah. Oh,
I think it's a
absolutely.
great coup for the company. What they do with them, I don't know, but I think it makes WrestleMania, if it happens, that much more interesting. I certainly wouldn't have him in a match there, but I think it would be either that or the night after, a great place to debut him in some kind of a role.
Absolutely.
Who knows what the training for him is going to be like?
Right, that's the thing is I don't know what they're going to do with that or anything. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, as you see, he's friends with Mojo Rawley, things like that, so maybe they'll do something there. I don't know, you know. We'll see. From there, we had Scott Steiner this past week have a little health issues.
Well, you know, sometimes that happens when you spend several decades enhancing a little bit. But, you know, we send out our best to Scott Steiner. We don't want to see anyone in the Brotherhood injured, sick, hospitalized, having surgeries like that. Hopefully he'll be able to, as his wife said on social media, have a complete full recovery and he'll be back, you know, lifting weights and
Big Papa
doing
Pump
the
style.
Big Papa Pump thing. Maybe he can challenge Tessa
Booty
Blanchard.
Daddy.
Who knows?
The biggest news that happened today was British Bulldog getting inducted to Hall of Fame.
Well,
how do you feel about that?
Long overdue. Really
overdue.
good guy. He had, I think, 4 different runs in WWE throughout his career. And he died so young, 39 years old.
Unbelievable.
That could have been me tapping. Again, a little too much enhancing, but, you know, just someone that created a lot of memories in WWE.
Absolutely.
When he had probably his biggest run on top, it wasn't much of a success at the time as WWE was hurting, but some classic tag team matches in the 1980s with the Hart Foundation and the British Bulldogs. You know, and he, if nothing
Question.
else,
Do you think he should have been a world champion at any point?
No.
No. Okay. I was just curious because I was reading a little debate. You know how those boards and stuff. I was just wondering your thoughts because I know you've watched
You
a lot
tell
of
me at
wrestling.
what point Davey Boy Smith should have been the
And
champion
that's why
over
I'm
whoever
asking
there
you
was.
because that's the board. I was just reading people's outcomes and like, you know, I totally don't see it. I think what he did was perfect for him, but no, not a champion because by the time he was in there, Shawn Michaels champion,
Right.
Bret Hart was champion. Like, you're not going to take the title off them. I mean, I guess you could have took it off Bret Hart for a little bit and had a little feud between them two because, you know, the brother-in-law, whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's only time for him to see it. But you're not going to because Bret Hart was so hot then.
I'll go this far as to say I wouldn't have even ever put the Intercontinental title
Really?
on him in '92.
So you would never had him win
but
that title match?
it's the SummerSlam '92. It was just magic.
Right.
It felt right.
It was perfect. At
It
the
was,
Wembley
and it
Stadium.
was such a short-lived reign. I mean, who knows how long he would have held on to it when him and Ultimate Warrior were fired because they were getting their enhancements from England at a time when it was banned in WWE. But not to take anything away from him, not everybody is meant to be a champion. We're talking about an era when Bulldog worked. The championships still had value and they meant something, as opposed to now when they just passed them around like, you know,
hot potato.
random women in a strip club.
Yeah, hot potato. Well, I'll go with the PG. You go
We'll
with
go with the PG. All right. But Davey Boy, great guy. Was one of the boys. Certainly deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame. It's just a shame he's not here to get it. I think it's a shame Dynamite doesn't go in with him, but it is what it is.
Since we're on the topic of Hall of Fame, real quick, what do you think of the inductees so far this year? You think it's weak? You think it's all right?
I mean, I roll my eyes at the NWO. The guys are already in. I definitely roll my eyes at the Bella Twins.
I know.
I mean, come on.
I know you're gonna do that.
Come on. What did they ever do for anything or anyone? I could really get on a roll, but
They helped the women's revolution.
No,
That's
they
what they
didn't
say.
help the
I
women's
know.
revolution.
I'm just telling you what people say. I'm just going with the flow on that one because I don't want to say something that, you know, get anybody mad. But I do like Batista. I'm happy for Batista.
oh yeah,
I think that's
and
good.
my good friend John Bradshaw Layfield.
Oh, I was going to say him next. That was my next guy because I know you have a heart for him.
He's been here in this
JBL, I was just
studio.
going to say in this studio.
In this studio, a good man. I know a lot of people don't like him because of things they've read on the internet and so on and so forth, and you're entitled to your opinion. I know the man personally. He was great to me, great to us. He was WWE Intercontinental Champion, and he was volunteered to involve himself here in the MWF, invested a little of that money in the Uprising faction, and congratulations to JBL, congratulations to Big Dave Batista, certainly a Hall of Fame career in WWE. NWO, I get it, to try and add some interest, having those
Hogan and
guys
stuff,
come out
yeah.
again, but the Bella Twins, that might be time to stretch the
And you know who
legs.
should honestly be part of that is between me and you is Eric Bischoff should be in that NWO.
You're not going to tell anyone else.
What?
You said between you and I. You
No,
don't
I'm
want
saying
anyone
between
else at
us,
home?
like all of us
Oh,
watching,
all right,
like,
all right,
yeah,
all right.
I'm saying just talk. As I think, honestly, Eric Bischoff should be in that group too. Like,
I think Bischoff will get his own induction.
Which is
he
cool.
certainly deserves it.
right. I just thought he'd be part of it because he's, you know.
I'd rather see him have his own first
Which is
and then
true,
do
too,
the
yeah.
group nonsense.
Absolutely. Do you think there's going to be any more inductees, or is that it?
I think Jushin Liger is going to be one of them.
Okay. See, I haven't read any rumors or anything because I try to stay away because I like to be surprised. You know, you still get that surprise effect. I just can't believe they're going to snub Christian again this year. With Edge being back, you could have him. And it's in Tampa where he lives. I don't know.
Maybe Christian's going to make a comeback. Maybe they're going to fix his neck up.
Well, it's not his neck. It's
His
Christian's.
head. You know, well, hey, Daniel
I
Bryan
don't know. I
was...
just thought where it was, if it happens, still we got to go with the F now. And Edge being back, it would just
My
be
phone
perfect.
is going nuts.
Yeah, you're going crazy over there.
All right, well, I'm hearing strange beeps. I almost feel like old Franklin D. Churchill. But it's been a long week. It's been a long,
It has.
long 24 hours.
Well, we have one more thing.
Oh, what
and
do we
that's,
got?
and the only other
I'll
thing
go
was-
all night. You know me. I like
we
to
got
talk.
one more
All right,
thing.
what
and
do we
just SmackDown was canceled for tomorrow night in Detroit.
Yeah,
They're going to be doing that at the
or
PC.
probably, this will probably be available to people on Friday. But
Okay,
yeah,
so-
SmackDown is going to the PC.
Can't wait to see what that looks like.
Your favorite city is going to be SmackDown-less. I know you love Detroit.
I love my Tigers. I love my Tigers. No, I love Tampa, but I love Detroit too.
All right, well, unfortunately, they will not have SmackDown.
Nope. But maybe, hopefully, when we come back to you next week, WrestleMania will be good to go. The virus is gone. We're all saved, blessed. Everything's beautiful.
And I would love to be able to tell you more about our 3 great
And
live
that's
events
big
this
thing, too.
spring. But
Yes.
I have nothing more to add than what we said on MWF Ultra. There's a lot up in the air. I'd love to have all 3 events happen. Believe me, if you know how much we've invested in the advertising, if you know all the work that's been put into it by so many people, I think you'd appreciate the frustration and the concern and the worry. We want everybody to be happy, healthy, safe people. But at the same time, we need our wrestling.
That's
So
right.
I don't know.
We do. MWF.
I usually know. This time I don't know.
We'll have it
throwing my
all
hands
figured
up.
out at some point. We'll let you know.
All right, so for Dave Carter, I'm Dan Marati. We got Tony Atlas coming in for more episodes. Dave is going to be back weekly. That means a lot more content.
That's right.
What's going to happen with MWF Ultra at this point? I have no idea because we don't know what's happening with the events. But I guess that's what makes life interesting. For Dave Carter, I'm Dan Marati. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, be well.